Other invited guests in the person of Mr. Jones, honorary members, general council officers, members of staff, members of the media, sisters and brothers, a pleasant good morning. Let me take this opportunity to join with our chairperson and incidentally again, for as long as I can recall, it is the first time in the history of our Trinidad Union that we have a woman as chairperson at the annual conference of the Union. So let me take this opportunity to join with the chairperson, Mr. Kimraji Jalisa, in extending a warm and cordial welcome to all of you to the headquarters of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, 75th annual conference of delegates, and 75 years of struggle in our quest to continue improving the quality of lives of our membership and by extension the wider working class movement in Trinidad and Tobago. It also gives me great pleasure as the General Secretary to present a revised version of the General Council's report for the period 27th November 2011 to the 23rd November 2012, which represents some of our union's performance during the above period and at the same time highlights some of our major achievements and shortfalls as we continue to explore new and innovative ways of moving the union through a path of continuous growth and development. It also encourages the opportunity for you, the General Council and the wider membership, as the major stakeholder, to express your views, criticism, observations, and analysis as to how we, the Central Executive, will have managed the affairs of the union on your behalf. Sisters and brothers, we undertake to listen to your suggestions and recommendations as we commit to working together towards providing you with an improved quality of representation and, more importantly, working together to resolve relevant issues that we believe could assist us as officers in strengthening and revamping existing systems within the union structure. In this regard, you will recognize and understand that your presence here today, the exact date on which this union was registered 75 years ago, is very significant and important in the rich history of our union, the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, as we celebrate 75 years of existence. The theme of our conference is 75 years and beyond. Just to briefly point out that 75 years ago when this union was formed, out of the bitter struggles of the working class in the sugar industry, our records indicate that some believed at the time that we will not survive. But we are still here today. We have been the recipient of the wicked and malicious actions of the former regime, who believed that the All Trinidad Union and by extension the RNC complex has been the home of many politicians of yesterday and today, proceeded to use the opportunity to close the sugar industry with a view that such actions would serve to break the mold and the support base. Be that as it may, all of us know what happened 2 years ago. Sisters and brothers, we have come very far, and it has not been easy. We have experienced many glorious struggles, and have also endured many agonizing defeats. But we have and will not let defeat get us down. We have survived the battles of many politicians from both inside and outside of the Union, and for the stalwarts within the trade union fraternity present here today, and who were part of that legacy, could bear testimony to what I'm saying. As life would have it, some of these heroes are still here with us today, while some would have gone to the great beyond. A lot more could be said as it relates to the history of this great organization. However, time will not permit. But most importantly, we need to reflect and understand the past struggles, the present challenges, and how do we plan for the future. Today, we will be honoring 4 individuals, namely Comrade John Jagger, Comrade Kishore Beatty, Comrade Eric Roberts, and Comrade Shahid Mohammed, who would have contributed significantly to the Union at all levels of the Central Executive, General Council, and as staff, and are now major part of this milestone achievement. As such, these individuals would be given due recognition. May I add, however, that today the Union faces challenges, new challenges, and it cannot continue to operate as though we have 12,000 members. As you are aware, the closure of the sugar industry has impacted negatively on the human and financial resources of the Union. Our investment portfolios were not as profitable as we forecasted due to the global economic situation. We are convinced, however, and despite the circumstances, the All Trinidad will survive. Sisters and brothers, there has been a perception that the All Trinidad Union has become weak. The All Trinidad no longer has the will to stand up and fight in the same manner as it did 75 years ago, and that the Union has lost its image and credibility, and we in the Union do not need, and we do not see the need to struggle. Let me assure you that the All Trinidad Union is alive and well. In July of this year, the Union's membership elected into office a new central executive for the next 4-year term, which is being led by the young and dynamic Attorney at Law Comrade Nirvan Maharaj. A mere 4 months in office has led to Mr. Maharaj being elected as second Vice President of the National Trade Union Center. And further to this, his name was recently submitted by NATO for consideration to be appointed as a member of the board of directors of the National Insurance Board. Since elected President General of the Union, Mr. Maharaj has embarked upon the task of changing the image of the Union. As such, the Union has been engaged in what we will call the transformation mode, with new structures and systems being articulated so as to encourage wider participation and involvement of the Central Executive, General Council, and the membership. In this context, several committees have been established, including finance, industrial relations, negotiations, women's arms, publication, education and research, sports and culture, constitution, promotion and fundraising, the farmers' arm, national issues, and membership. so that this union could begin this transformation process. It is our intention, therefore, to continue the struggle for the next 75 years and beyond. Sisters and brothers, we must understand that as being part of the National Trade Union movement in Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad Union is not excluded from any of the measures taken by both the government through its executing arm, the Chief Personnel Officer, and the private sector. We need to recognize that presently the union's majority membership lies within the private sector. We have been a recipient of whatever situation confronts the trade union movement, and as such, we have to be mindful and understand that a lack of physical presence in support of the initiatives of the labor movement does not mean that we are turning a blind eye to the issues, but the mere fact is that the human resource element within the union has been curtailed. Sisters and brothers, the Trinidad Union has been addressing its internal needs, concerns and issues with tremendous focus on growth and development. We have been analyzing some of our setbacks. For example, the Assembly of Officers exercise and the future of our education and training program. I know my comrade from the Contractors and General Workers Union has always been asking about that industrial relations program that we did some years ago. I am pleased to say today that we have been making significant progress, but not at the rate we expect. I refer to three pertinent and relevant questions that were left with us at the Union's 73rd Annual Conference of Delegates by one Sister Paula Robinson. One, the question is, does the Trinidad carry out vibrant and consistent organizing activities? Two, does membership recruitment provide the organization with enough income to run its operation? If not, what other income-generating activities should the union consider in short time until membership numbers provide a sustainable foundation for funding its operational costs? And thirdly, does the Trinidad conduct an education program that equips its staff, officers and members to become trade union stalwarts, who is committed to the organization and active in implementing its agenda? Thank you, Sister Paula. She's not here today, but I must say that she is not well, and I say thanks to her. In this context, I wish to reiterate that while the Central Executive stands at the helm of the Union in terms of administration, we need the collective effort of all our executive officers and members at the level of the branches in order to unite, to plan, to organize, to mobilize, and to implement. Further to this, we believe that this is only through unity, solidarity, and collective responsibility that we will be able to succeed in our future endeavors. Let me turn to some of the issues that continue to engage the attention of the Union. A, the closure of Bel-Air International Airport Hotel Limited continues to engage the attention of the Industrial Court of Trinidad and Tobago, Comrade Maharaj and other attorneys representing the Union, that operation ceased in 2010. In relation to the Technical and Maintenance Company Limited, a company which was offered a huge contract by the Sugar Manufacturing Company Limited and responsible for the continued operation of the Eugene St. Martin refinery, ceased operation in 2010 and sent home 120 workers. That matter continues to engage the attention of the industrial court. Regarding the distribution of lands to the ex-employees of Pari 1975 Limited for residential and agricultural purposes, the union continues to represent the interests of these unfortunate ex-employees, despite the fact that the union would have forwarded several correspondences to the Minister of Food Production and Marine Affairs, Minister of Food Production, Land and Marine Affairs, Ministry of Housing, Land and Marine Affairs. Today the situation remains the same. Recognizing the fact that more than 10 years have passed and that many of these unfortunate ex-employees would have paid in full the cost of the residential lots, today some of these leases have not been distributed. While some were distributed, no one knows where the lots are located. Health and safety issues not being addressed in accordance with the Act. Labour legislation as it relates to the process of obtaining recognition status through the medium of the Registration, Recognition and Certification Board. Today with us, we have the Acting Secretary of the Board, Comrade Brendan Tate. Application dated the 4th of January 2010 on behalf of the workers of Geneva Enterprises Limited is still pending. On behalf of the workers of Elgin Element Dry Cleaners, SBM, CES. On 24th October, the union filed an application for certification of recognition on behalf of the workers of Skechers Limited. The Trinidad Union hereby renew its call that the recognition process needs to be overhauled. It has and continues to impact negatively on trade unions in their attempt to broaden their membership base. Morvali Farm, lack of response from officials of the Ministry of Food Production despite several meetings. Sisters and brothers, these are only a few issues that continue to impact significantly on the union's operation. However, we will proceed diligently as we move along. Let me turn my attention now to the period under review. Industrial Relations. Sisters and brothers, the Industrial Relations Department is headed by Comrade John Jaglar, the first Vice President, and continues to carry out its core function from an industrial relations perspective to ensure the delivery of effective and efficient level of representation for membership. Sister Kavita Ramlochan, Amrita Baba, Monique Abdul, on job training, assisting carrying out the day-to-day affairs of this department. Comrade Reverend Maraj and former comrade, still comrade of the union, Nigel Indra Paul, who is now an attorney at law, has taken an active role to provide advice and assist in the department wherever that assistance is required. Sisters and brothers, on a continuous basis, there would be the need to devise new strategies and to adopt new techniques as it relates to collective bargaining. Workers' rights and entitlements will also be closely monitored. The department and by extension, the union recognizes the need to maintain a balance between the future viability of companies in which the union has bargaining rights, on the one hand, and the effective and efficient representation of its membership, on the other hand. This equation will require the collective responsibility of all concerned, and as such, we assure you that the role of the union would not be compromised. Education and research. Sisters and brothers, the need to convene effective education programs is top priority for us. With the recent conclusion of branch executive elections, revealed the election of new officers, focus has been placed in terms of educating these officers, recognizing the fact that they are the main link between the management and workers, and even further between the workers and unions. The role of branch officers is therefore extremely important And I'm not only referring to the President and Secretary of the branch, but the entire branch executive and the structure. As such, all of these officers must make every effort to fully participate in training opportunities that will be offered in the near future. We must confess that the Union was not able to continue our education program due to constraints. Sisters and brothers, the need to devise new and innovative strategies and approaches will have to be top priority on an ongoing basis in order to treat with employers and management. As trade union leaders, we must be able to analyze the rapid changing situation. We must continue to mobilize, organize, educate, and work constructively for achieving better wages, working conditions, and at the same time be able to work with employers to save jobs. Job security is critical at this time. On the question of remaining relevant and meeting our members' expectations, our union continues to be affiliated with the National Trade Union Center of Trinidad and Tobago, the International Union of Food, Tobacco, Catering, Hotel and Island Workers, in short the IUF, and the union intends to expand its role internationally. Sisters and brothers, during the period, the HEAL transferred its operation at the halfway house. HEAL continues to provide 3-month rehabilitation program and counseling to persons who would have fallen victims to alcohol and drugs. Brother Kapu Ramprasad, coordinator and counselor, continues to manage the affairs of this entity. Sports and culture. Over the past year, we have experienced a drastic decline in cultural activities, which is due mainly to the exorbitant output cost for hosting of events. We have given this due consideration and as such have taken steps to reduce the rental cost of this venue based on the nature of the activity. This venue is also being utilized for all types of events. Organizing trust. Sisters and brothers, the union has been on a continuous drive to recruit new members. The President General, upon assuming office, has embarked on a series of visits in companies in which the union has recognition status. It is our hope, to visit all branches by the end of this year. Further to this, officers of the Central Executive will continue with our walkabout exercises. We will call again on our branch officers and by extension the branch executive to work towards a 100% membership within their respective branches. Some of these branches will have achieved this milestone or this benchmark, and as such we thank those officers and are prepared to work with the others who would have not done so. The Women's Auxiliary Group, sisters and brothers, Sister Janice Marie Scott, unfortunately she is not here with us today, she is not feeling well, and Sister Anne-Marie Hicks, Hazel Ryan, Margaret Ann Mack, Kimraji Jawasa, Mrs. Usha Ramata, continues to serve as main players in the operation, functioning and expansion of this group. A fundraising barbecue was held on the 28th September. This initiative was a tremendous success. And to all those who present here, trade unions alike, I would like to say a special thank you to each and every one of you who would have participated in this exercise. This is it. And again, I would also like to express the Central Executive sincere thanks to the branch executive and workers of the KC Confectionery branch who would have done more than what it takes to make this to reality. Accounts Department, sisters and brothers, this department is headed by Brother Fazal Khan and is responsible for the provision of monthly statements of income and expenditure. These statements are there after reviewed by the Treasurer, Brother Eric Roberts, and 3 trustees, Sister Janice Fleming Scott, Anne-Marie Hicks, and Sheldon Ryan. on a monthly basis and forward to the Central Executive and General Council for discussions and approval as its monthly statutory meeting. These statements form the basis for the preparation of our annual audit, both internally and by the auditor appointed by the Registrar of Trade Unions. May I say, it has been for the longest while comrades in the trade union movement that a finalization or decision has been taken to appoint or reappoint a Registrar of Trade Unions. The department also provides budgetary statements for the ensuing year, as well as the value of the union's asset and investment from a commercial standpoint. Activities outside the union. In October 2012, the Minister of Labour and Small and Micro Enterprise Development appointed the ILO 1445 Tripartite Committee, to which myself have been appointed a member for the next 3 years. I also continue to serve as a member of the Board of Governors of the Cipriani College of Labour and Cooperative Studies. The term of office comes to an end in December 2013. Further to this, I continue to serve as chairman of the college's audit subcommittee. The first vice president, Ahmed Jagla, continues to represent the union at the steering committee of the Sugar Heritage Village and Museum, which is located at Sibera House, which is Castle Hoover. The first vice president continues to serve as a member of the Sugar Industry Labour Welfare Committee, National Labour Unity. As we continue to address the administrative challenges of the union on a day-to-day basis, I wish to reiterate, as an executive, we have a moral duty to our staff, our membership, our people, our country, and our future generations, and we pledge to continue the struggle. As officers of the union's General Council, you also have a moral responsibility to your co-workers and members. We must therefore plan our work for the future. This is our responsibility. Finally, we once again commit ourselves at the level of the Central Executive to work with every branch and working committee during the next year, and we believe that success will be achieved with the active participation and full support of all our officers and members as we work towards building a strong and vibrant trade union. Long live the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, long live the trade union movement. I thank you.